Hello and welcome back to more Ratchet and Clank content. Today we're going to be looking at what I consider to be the top 5 best and worst Ratchet and Clank 2002 weapons. Hopefully you guys enjoy the list, and if you do, feel free to hit the subscribe button and the bell down below to be notified when I release more Ratchet and Clank content in the coming weeks. I release every Friday, so feel free to come back and check it out. Hey, what do you got there? Hey, don't shoot me with that. No, don't shoot me. Great, I'm a sheep now. Bah, you happy? Let's get this ball rolling now with the 5 worst weapons, starting from the least worst to the most worst. I don't think that's a proper sentence, but I never claimed to be an English major. You're here for a list of video game things, not an essay. Starting off the list, we have the Bomb Glove. Yes, I know this will probably be the most controversial thing on this list, and this was probably the hardest decision for me to make in this entire list, but yes, the Bomb Glove overall is pretty bad. Early game, it's a great weapon, don't get me wrong, but as we move further and further into the game, its weaknesses start to show. As we hit the halfway point of the game, the Bomb Glove starts to take 3 to 5 hits to kill enemies, and the game really starts throwing more and more flying enemies at you, making the Bomb Glove almost unusable. Never mind the fact that at this point we have so many other better guns to use. But to be fair, I would say even the Blaster and Pyrosator, both early game weapons, are overall better choices. Next on our list is the Morpho Ray. As cool and gimmicky as the Morpho Ray is, it's kind of a disappointment as a weapon. It takes too long to morph anything meaningful, and the inability to strafe and shoot in the first game makes it pretty much impossible to shoot the larger enemies long enough to not make yourself a sitting duck for bullets. The Morpho Ray in future games is a much better weapon, but in the first game it's just not quite there yet to be worth the weapon slot, sadly. The Mine Glove is like the Bomb Glove, but worse. And it's kind of disappointing because if the throw range was a bit longer on this weapon, it would probably be a much better weapon to use, but due to its horrible short range, it's pretty bad. If you actually want to get close enough for these things to lock onto enemies, you're basically at the range that the Walloper could have just killed it already in one hit anyways, so what's really the point? Well, I feel the main point of this weapon was to place mines down and then use the Taunter to pull enemies towards them, and then have them go off, but what's the point of setting all that up when I have so many other guns that can just kill enemies way quicker, never mind the fact that these mines are pretty useless against any strong enemies or things that fly, so yet again, something useless about halfway through the game. And speaking of the Taunter, yeah, this thing is pretty useless. It's used to pull enemies towards you, even though, like I stated in the review of this game, you kinda want to stay away from enemies so you can more easily lock onto them and finish them off. There is no reason to use this gun. It's kind of just something to use with the Mine Glove, which you don't even unlock until a decent amount later into the game after getting the Taunter. I would say there's only one reason you would ever use this gun, and that's to obtain this singular gold bolt here. The last weapon on this list, and what I would consider the worst in the game, is the Decoy Glove. Why would I waste a button press throwing an orb that spawns a decoy when I could just as easily throw a Glove of Doom or shoot a gun and kill whatever I'm looking at instead? Plus, what makes this even more horrible is that only a few levels later, you get the drone device, which is superior in every single way possible. And it costs the same amount of bolts. The only thing that can possibly redeem how horrible this weapon is the fact that it's used to get to the AFK bolt farm glitch, but that's not really enough for me to not place this as the worst weapon in the game. Now that we got the grumpy stuff out of the way, let's sit back and praise one of the most innovative, fun to use, and powerful weapons in the original game as we talk about the 5 best weapons from the least best to the most best. Still spot on with my grammar, and also still a sheep. You gonna fix this anytime soon, please? Starting the list off, we have a weapon that we just mentioned, the drone device. I never really bothered with these guys on my first few playthroughs, but this time around, I learned how much of a lifesaver they can be. For only 7,500 bolts, you can pick this bad boy up and make yourself pretty much invulnerable. Selecting the drone device on your quick swap will instantly cause these drones to spawn around you, meaning you don't have to take any extra actions to spawn them. They basically work as a passive armor. That kills people! Yes, the drones that you spawn from this will sacrifice themselves to block any incoming attacks, and if an enemy gets close to you, they'll launch themselves in a kamikaze style at the closest enemy, killing them on impact. This is an amazing way to keep yourself safe while also adding an extra way of killing enemies around you. Plus, when they run out, or just before they run out, all it takes is a quick rotation on the weapon select menu and they're back up, ready to protect you no matter what. The Devastator is your best friend for most of the game. You get this beauty pretty early, a little less than halfway through the game, and it auto-locks onto enemies, has crazy range, and does a pretty decent amount of damage, one-shotting most enemies through a good chunk of the game. Until you get the Visibomb, you will find this weapon to be your best friend. Oh, my little babies, yes! Destroy! Burn! Kill! Ah, the Glove of Doom, named rightfully so. It's just a fabulous beast. These little guys can be thrown out just like a bomb glove, but once thrown out, they will chill around you the whole time, and once they find a target, they're on the move to destroy. The range of these bad boys is pretty long, and they do a ton of damage, even against the bosses in the game, and are more of a passive defense and offense. Plus, aren't they just adorable little killing machines? Oh yes you are! You're the most adorable death machines I've ever seen! Oh, sorry about that. It's now time to say goodbye to the Devastator, cause there's a new boyfriend in town, and his name is Visibomb, and he's a sexy beast! This weapon here carried me through my entire game on my first playthrough. Back when I was a little old 9-year-old Badman, the final level of the game was an impossible task for me. And if it wasn't for the Visibomb allowing me to sit back, hide, and kill everything from a million miles away, I would have never been able to beat the game. I'd kill everything I could, run back and get more ammo, and then rinse and repeat until I made my way to the final boss. Besides my inability to be a good gamer as a kid, the Visibomb is just an overall great weapon. It can kill at longer ranges than any weapon in the game, it does about 3 times the damage of the Devastator, and is just overall a beast of a gun. The only downside that it has is that it can't be used in close quarters due to it leaving you vulnerable while guiding the missile. And now on to what I consider to be the very best weapon in Ratchet & Clank 2002, the Tesla Claw. This thing is just a monster of a gun due to how lock-on works in this game and the inability to strafe and dodge like in the future games. The Tesla Claw's ability to auto-lock onto anything around you pretty much in any direction, its massive amounts of damage, and its ease of use make it a monster of a gun that is unstoppable in pretty much anyone's hands. Never mind the fact that you can pretty much just tap the trigger here and there to punish any enemies around you and stop them from shooting at you. And it's not just great for punishing large enemies, it can also melt through waves of tiny enemies as well, making it an all-around showstopper and the best weapon in the game for almost any circumstance. Between the Tesla Claw and the Visibomb in your arsenal, you'll never need another gun. Unless... I know we've been through our 5 bad guns and our 5 good guns, but I have to give the Rhino a shout out. When I make these weapon lists from now on to future Ratchet games, I want to just make it known I won't be including the Rhino on the lists, just due to the fact that these guns are obviously made to be super broken and usually purchased after multiple playthroughs, which kind of doesn't make it fit too well onto the list. And after playing through all the games, I'm probably just going to make a separate list ranking all of the Rhinos by themselves anyways. But I just have to say, because this is the first time I've been able to use it, this thing is stupidly broken. It locks onto multiple targets, one-shots everything, makes all of the bosses a joke, and is just fun to use. But on the other hand, it better be when it's over 3 times as expensive as the most expensive Gadgetron vendor weapon. Well, we're done the list, and I'm still a sheep, so that's great. How about we try this? If you were happy with the list, please make me not a sheep anymore. Oh, jeez. Thank you. I'm so happy that you enjoyed the video, and since you enjoyed it, feel free to go down below and hit that like button and the subscribe and bell button to be notified when I release more videos. Every Friday, we're going to be having more Ratchet and Clank 2002 content up until our Going Commando review, which is going very well. And again, check down in the description, we got a Discord. I'm always there, I'm always active, and post what your favorite and least favorite weapons were in the comments below. I would love to see your opinions, and I'll be replying to all of your opinions down there because I'm always super active in the comments. I love communicating with the community. You guys are all fantastic. You guys and gals, I love y'all. I love you so much. Thank you for all the love and support. You mean the world to me. I really mean it. Thank you. Until then, I'll see y'all in the next episode. Just a quick thank you to my YouTube and Patreon supporters. You guys are so generous, and I thank you a million times over. If anyone else would like to help support the channel and the content I create, feel free to check the description below for links to my Patreon.